constantly people are interacting with ads and sales posts. And then also investing in social media advertising and doing it successfully can help you raise brand awareness and really drive traffic to your website to create and convert more leads. If done correctly, you'll start to really see your ads up your social media game and start turning sales into really promising leads.
Hey there, you're listening to the Priority Pursuit Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping small business owners and leaders define, maintain, and pursue both their personal and business priorities so they can build lives and businesses they love. I'm your host, Victoria Rayburn, and guys, today I am excited to be joined once again by Treefrog's content director, Angel Tobey. If you have listened to past episodes with Angel, you know that she does an amazing job of making content marketing topics that seem super scary, very clear, and straightforward. I mean, go back and listen to episode 107, where she breaks down exactly how to write website copy step by step. Episode 110, where she gives a complete content marketing strategy for small businesses. Or episode 119, where she breaks down the social media strategy that she and her team use for our clients. And you will see exactly what I mean. She makes content marketing so ever loving easy. But in this week's episode, I have no doubt that Angel is going to do the same once again and help us all feel more at peace about a marketing topic that seems to cause small businesses particularly high anxiety, which is social media ads. In this episode, Angel has promised to both explain why small businesses should invest in social media ads and provide some tips and tricks you can use to help your small business get to the next level by utilizing social media advertising. Angel, thank you so much for coming back on the show.
I'm so glad to be back, especially to discuss this topic, because I know that social media ads are definitely something that stress a lot of small businesses out. But it's definitely worth understanding the best social media advertising practices, because social media ads can play such a huge role in helping small businesses get to the next level.
Yes, I am also super pumped for this conversation. But Angel, before we get into today's topic, just in case any of our listeners have yet to meet you, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us how you serve small businesses in your role at Treefrog as our content director?
Of course. I'm Angel Tobey, Treefrog Marketing's content director. At Treefrog, I oversee all of the content and copy our agency produces for our clients. So in other words, I oversee all of the words that go on to websites and blog posts, emails, and basically everything else with written communication, which includes social media ads.
Yeah. Basically, you are a content marketing genius, and I am so excited to have this conversation with you. So, Angel, in the fourth and final step of the flywheel marketing strategy, which is promotion, we encourage small businesses to utilize social media advertising. Would you mind explaining why? Basically, why should small businesses invest in social media ads? 'Cause I think that this is something that a lot of them are just hesitant to do.
Right, absolutely. So first and foremost, social media ads just give you increased visibility and reach on social media. So back in the day, organic social media, so meaning just posting to a social media without backing that content with money, it got you pretty far. But unfortunately, with changing algorithms, just posting organically alone is no longer enough. It won't get you enough reach. It won't give you enough impressions. So now, for the record, changing algorithms aren't really a bad thing. Social media platforms are businesses. So they both want to serve their users well and make money. So it isn't surprising that these platforms, especially the larger platforms like Facebook and Instagram, are essentially charging low fees for reach. Basically, we recommend using social media advertising because when you put money behind your posts, your promotions, or any of your other social media content, you'll be much more likely to get more reach and reach your ideal audience. While I know some listening right now might be really disappointed to hear that organic social media is no longer enough, the good news is that social media advertising is pretty affordable. In fact, another reason social media ads make so much sense for small businesses is because they're relatively cost effective. Promotions on social media tend to be much cheaper than traditional media promotions like radio, TV, billboard, or print ads. I mean, I think the average billboard ad costs between like $1,200 and $15,000 per month. And that's just for the single sign. So plus, when's the last time you really saw a billboard and actually took action after seeing it?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. I mean, other than like stopping at a fast food restaurant on a road
Right.
trip, I honestly cannot think of a single time where, I called that lawyer or whatever else.
Exactly. Exactly. Plus, with social media ads, you can also set your own budget. While there are like minimum ad spends on most social media platforms, they're relatively low, meaning you can scale your ad spend to wherever your business is financially.
Yes, I am so glad you brought up both of these points. I feel like I hear small business owners and leaders complain about algorithm updates and lack of reach all the time. But like you said, social media platforms are their businesses. They want and need to make money. They did not start. I mean, honestly, like that sounds bad. They just didn't start so that people could hang out on the internet.
Right.
They started businesses to make money like all businesses do. Fortunately, though, social media advertising is a cost-effective form of advertising, especially when you think about how targeted you can be with this form of advertising.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you said that, because that brings me to the next reason that we recommend that small businesses really utilize social media advertising, which is the fact that you can also make your social media ads highly targeted. So social media ads actually make reaching your ideal customers pretty easy. I mean, with most traditional media options, take print ads, for example, you don't have a lot of control over who sees those advertisements. You can choose specific publications or outlets that your ideal customers consume and send mailers and things like that. But to an extent, with print ads, you invest in an ad and then you kind of just have to hope and pray that the right people see it and take the next step. But with social media ads, you can specifically target your best customers and ensure your ads only appear to the people that you want to connect with. For example, as you set up your ads, you can specify things like age, gender, interests, and more things like that, so that you know that every dollar you spend is helping you reach your ideal clients.
Yes, preach. Honestly, guys, at this point, it's very rare that we recommend that small businesses invest in paid advertising like outside of social media and Google ads, just because these forms of digital advertising can be so targeted and as a result, super effective. Now, don't get me wrong, there are exceptions. I mean, depending on our client's ideal customers, we still recommend print ads and other things, but I would say at least 95% of the time, the strategies that Kelly and the strategy team design for our clients include investing advertising budgets into social media and Google ads because they can be so targeted. Okay, Angel, I know that there are a few other reasons you recommend social media ads. Lay those on us before we get to the next question.
Right. Yes. Honestly, there are so many reasons small businesses should start utilizing social media advertising, but I want to make sure that we cover two really important ones. So another great reason to invest in social media ads is the immediate feedback you get on their performance. And ad analytics are pretty easily trackable, and they also allow you to quickly update campaigns if they're not working, or even put more budget towards campaigns that are working well. So this allows you to make informed decisions when it comes to how you're spending your ad budget. Then, last but not least, we want to recommend using social media ads because social media is likely where your ideal customers are spending their time. We mentioned this on the podcast before, but people really spend a lot of time on social media. In fact, the average person spends about 2.5 hours on social media per day. So it is a part of our culture. Social media is likely where your current and potential clients are, and it would be a real shame for you not to meet your customers where they're already spending their time.
Mm-hmm. All such good points. Okay, so now that it's clear that nearly all small businesses should be utilizing social media ads, I'm sure many listening are now wondering what they should be promoting with social media ads. So can you explain what kinds of ads small businesses should run?
Yes, absolutely. You can promote all kinds of things on social media, but because a good social media strategy, ad strategy, largely consists of promoting the content you're already creating for your sales funnel, it might be easiest to break down your options by the stages of the buyer's journey. Now, if you've listened to episode 110, A Proven Content Marketing Strategy for Small Businesses, If you haven't listened, I'd suggest you go back and take that in, because we explain in depth how the buyer's journey fits into content planning and what kind of content falls into each step of the buyer's journey. But as a quick recap, the buyer's journey is the process the customer goes through to purchase a product or service. And it has 3 stages: awareness, consideration, and decision. So essentially, you want to use your social media advertising to really drive traffic to your content that you've created for your sales funnel. For example, ads that focus on the awareness stage will be used to reach people that have a problem, but they don't know what to do about it. They're looking for answers. They need resources. They want to be educated on a topic. Basically, they need to be made aware of something. That's why it's called the awareness stage. These ads will lead the viewer to a piece of awareness content that you've developed, such as an awareness blog. So basically, you can use your social media advertising to drive traffic to your awareness blog. And this allows you to connect with and educate your prospects and lead them into your sales funnel. And then in addition to promoting your awareness content, you also want to promote your consideration content. And as a reminder, the consideration stage is the part of the buying process where someone is researching or considering ways to get something done. And in this phase, it's important to get your prospects' email addresses. So in the flywheel marketing method, content for this phase usually includes an opt-in of some kind. This can be an information download, a coupon code, a quiz, or really anything that your audience can gain access to in exchange for their email address. Because collecting email addresses is so important, because once you have the prospect's email, you can continue the conversation and nurture your potential buyer as they make a decision about how to solve their problem. And by using social media advertising, you can help more prospects find and take advantage of your opt-in and submit their email addresses to you. And then last but not least, you can use your social media ads to promote your decision content. In other words, you can use social media ads to sell your products and services. With decision-based ads and content, you need to show potential customers that your product or service is the best choice to solve their problem. And with this in mind, decision ads are typically going to lead to a product or service landing pages or a shop where customers can buy through your store. Either way, the mission of a decision-based ad is to sell your product or services outright. So basically, you want to use your social media advertising to promote your content, get prospects into your sales funnel, and then also drive traffic to your website. And on that note, something else I'm often asked is, how much of our budget should our small business put towards advertising each phase of the buyer's journey? And the answer is, it depends on the business and their audience, because every small business, its customers, and their buyer's journey is going to be different. So as a result, every business's awareness, consideration, decision ad ratio is going to look very different. As an example, if you operate a boutique and you have a collection of clothing specifically to sell for the 4th of July, you probably want to start running ads that showcase those specific pieces a month or 2 before the holiday. In this situation, prospects likely don't need a full education on why they should buy a 4th of July outfit, right? So this is something that they already know they want or need, and will be happy to click on an ad that features a cute outfit and takes them to a product page where they can just make a purchase. On the other hand, if you take us at Treefrog, our flywheel marketing service, which is our primary service that includes our team implementing the flywheel marketing strategy for small businesses in full, it's a big investment. And typically we have to educate prospects about the strategy before they're ready to really invest with it. As a result, we don't tend to run a lot of decision ads for ourselves. Instead, we spend a lot of our ad budget either on driving traffic to awareness or consideration content so that we can connect with prospects and help them see the value of flywheel marketing. So long story short, we recommend running awareness, consideration, and decision ads, but the ratio among those ads should really depend on your customers and how they want to engage with your content.
Many small businesses don't have an effective marketing strategy, and because of this, they try one tactic after another without seeing results. This not only prevents consistent business growth, it makes managing marketing efforts more difficult than it should be. As a marketing agency for small businesses, we understand how frustrating it can be when hard work doesn't deliver the results that you want. Because of this, Treefrog has developed a proven 4-step marketing system that will help any small business grow. On our website, you can also schedule a 30-minute discovery call to discuss working with Treefrog to build a marketing strategy that will allow your small business to finally see the growth you've been working so hard to achieve.
What would you do with an extra 45 minutes every workday? That would save you 16 hours a month or roughly 8 days a year. And over the course of your career, we're talking about over 1 year of your life saved. All that time back. Well, many independent business owners spend far more than 45 minutes a day on administrative tasks. And with HoneyBook, you can get that time back and then some. HoneyBook lets you easily manage projects, contracts, invoices, scheduling, and client communication, saving you time and allowing you to better serve your clients. For a discount on your first year of HoneyBook, visit honeybook.com and subscribe with the code PriorityPursuit. 45 minutes a day adds up quickly. Use it to focus on what matters most.
Yes, Angel, that was so good. As always, there you go, making scary marketing topics much more approachable. Okay, so we now know why small businesses should invest in social media advertising and then also what kinds of ads they should be running. But I think something else that stresses small business owners and leaders out is the technical part of running social media ads. Now, because there are so many social media platforms out there and many of them have just tons of advertising options. I mean, if you open up the back end of Meta, you're like, holy cow.
Right.
Cool. There are a lot of options. So kind of with that in mind, yeah, we can't possibly cover every kind of ad option or strategy in a single podcast episode. But if someone is listening and wanting to get started with social media ads, what advice or steps would you give them?
That's such a great question. I mean, if you aren't familiar with running social media ads, I can definitely see how opening Facebook, Instagram, or another platform's ad manager for the first time would be super overwhelming. There's a lot going on back there. But the good news is that you don't have to learn every platform's best advertising practices. In fact, you only need to focus your efforts and energy on the social media platforms that your ideal clients use. So if you tune into episode 119, a simple social media strategy for small businesses, we broke down how to determine which platforms your ideal clients are using. And if you haven't already listened to that episode, I would really recommend going back and listening just to figure that out. But basically, if you know who your ideal client is, which you should know from developing your messaging and marketing guiding statements, then you can determine which platforms they're most active on and choose and use those platforms accordingly. Then after you decide which platform to utilize, get familiar with the ad options available on these platforms. I mean, there are now video ads, carousel ads, just too many to even name. So I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty of ad options today because to be honest, if we got into the specific tactics or how-tos, my advice would likely become outdated pretty quickly, simply because the major social media platforms roll out new ad options all the time. But to see success with social media advertising, you need to choose your social media platforms and then learn their ad options inside and out. And in case you're frustrated that we aren't giving you specific how-tos in this episode, I do want to share some resources with you. At this point, all major social media platforms have advertising education resources, and there are educators out there who specialize in specific platforms. They're a great resource for learning how to utilize best practices, including graphic size, copy, and more. And you can also find some helpful ad courses for the most popular social media platforms in the show notes.
Yes, it's honestly crazy how quickly social media ad options change. Yes. But when you're just focusing on a couple platforms, it becomes much more manageable. Again, guys, we will post some links in the show notes that really break down exactly how to run ads on each of these platforms. But like Angel said, it also is a good idea to look up educators, look up influencers who really specialize in those areas. And yes, it's probably going to seem really overwhelming at first, but once you're really integrated into a platform, it's going to be a lot easier to keep up with all of the all of the new rollouts, all of the individual changes. But as we've already discussed, social media advertising, totally worth it. So yes, do your research, learn the platforms, or, trust a company or an agency like Treefrog to run your ads for you. And then you don't have to do that. But we'll get to that here in a little bit. But anyway, Angel, do you have any other social media ad advice for small businesses? I know that's kind of like a big loaded question.
I was going to say, you already know I do. I have all the advice. We can't not talk about the importance of really looking at data and results. So last but not least, when you run social media ads, it's so important to measure your results so that you can really see what's working and not working and then make changes accordingly. So regardless of the social media platforms you advertise on, they should have tools for viewing your analytics. And there are also some great third-party sites that allow you to collect and review analytics so that you can compare how your ads are doing. Now, some analytics that you should really keep track of are ad impressions. So this is the number of times your ad is displayed on the screen. So this is a great number to review if you want to know how many eyes have been on your content. Next, review the amount of clicks your ad received as well as the click-through rate, or CTR. The CTR is a percentage that reflects how often people who saw your ad actually ended up clicking on it. So by tracking your ad's click-through rate, you can determine if your copy and graphics are compelling to your target audience. Basically, the more relevant your ad is for the target audience, the better your click-through rate will be. And there are a ton of other really great analytics for you to review for ad performance. But those are just a few really important ones that you should review for each ad. And that said, don't just look at the results. Instead, use your analytics to really improve your ads, and don't be afraid to A/B test copy, imagery, and more, depending on the capabilities of the platform you're using.
Yes, all so good. And guys, if you want to learn more about the technical side of running social media ads, like Angel said, I'm going to say it one more time. Be sure to check out the show notes for platform-specific courses and other resources. Again, we would love to tell you all the things, but they quickly become outdated. And a podcast where you listen is not always the best place to talk about things that are easier to learn if you can actually see it. But anyway, Angel, you have covered so much in this episode. We could honestly stop here. I feel like you've already given people such great value, but because you do have all the content marketing answers, I want to make sure I ask all the questions to put our listeners' minds at ease when it comes to social media advertising. So with this in mind, how much money do small businesses need to invest in social media advertising to see results? I know we've talked about the fact that it is relatively affordable, but let's talk specific numbers.
Yes, we get asked this question all the time by clients. But like we discussed before, your social media ad budget can be pretty flexible, like we said, based on how much your business is really able to allocate towards ads. Like with almost anything, the more you put into social media advertising, the bigger results you're likely to see. But our clients have had success with budgets as low as $100 to $200 per month with their small targeted local campaigns. How much you spend on social media should really depend on your budget, the amount of competition you're up against, and the results you want to see.
Yes. Yeah. Every small business is different, but when you think about it, $100 a month is not a lot of money,
right,
especially when you're running a strong ad that produces results. Okay, Angel, next question that I'm sure many are wondering right now. Can small businesses handle their own social media ads, or is this something that they should outsource?
Yeah, that's another great question we get asked all the time. And it really depends on two things, time and money. On one hand, if you have your marketing guiding statements and great content to share, you already have everything you need to write social media ads yourself. Social media platforms are also doing a lot to make social media advertising approachable. And as we mentioned, there are quite a few educational tools out there to help you create social media ads on your own. If you do take the time to develop and run your own ads, you can likely also put a significant amount of money towards your ad spending because you won't need to pay a professional. On the other hand, successful social media advertising can seem really, really complex, and it can be overwhelming to small business leaders who just don't have the time to dedicate to learning all of the vast ins and outs of social media marketing, which makes outsourcing ad creation a really great option for them. If you'd like to learn more about whether or not you need to start outsourcing some important marketing tasks that take up a lot of your time, like social media ads, go back and listen to episode 98, 3 Signs It's Time to Outsource Your Small Business's Marketing.
Oh, yes, we will include a link to the episode in the show notes. But like so much of small business marketing, small business owners and their teams can learn how to handle social media advertising, but it isn't always the best use of their time
Right, exactly.
when there are so many other important aspects of running a small business. Okay, Angel, as we wrap this episode up, I have one final question for you. And that is, and I mean, we already know the answer, is social media advertising worth it?
Oh, well, yeah, as a blanket statement, definitely yes. I mean, it's so worth it that we utilize social media advertising for all of our flywheel marketing clients. And as a recap, social media is where people are. And according to reports, a total of 76% of consumers have actually purchased a product they saw in a brand's social media.
I mean,
Also,
I know I have.
yeah, exactly. I feel like most people you talk to will say, I got this off Facebook, or I got this from an Instagram ad, something like
Yes.
that. It is
I know some
super,
people think social media advertising is super creepy when they like
I know.
show you products that they're like, oh, I was just talking about this or whatever. Personally, I really appreciate
I was
it
gonna
when
say
it solves my problem.
yeah, I was gonna say it saves me some time and it's right there in front of me. I enjoy it too. But as just that conversation shows that, constantly people are interacting with ads and sales posts. And then also investing in social media advertising and doing it successfully can help you raise brand awareness and really drive traffic to your website to create and convert more leads. Plus, again, it's relatively cost effective, especially compared to other forms of advertising like billboards we talked about being, you can get a billboard for $15,000 a month. I don't know how many people are doing that, but this is much more cost effective than that. So all of that to say that yes, social media advertising is definitely worth it for small businesses. In case you'd like some numbers, let's take one of our clients, for example. Now, it's not uncommon for small businesses to see very, very little engagement on organic or unpaid posts on Facebook and Instagram, especially with the way the algorithms are really making a point to suppress business posts. However, with a paid ad with a budget of just $100, we were able to generate more than 1,300 clicks, more than 38,000 impressions, and a 3.45% click-through rate. Now, I know 3.45% might not sound like much. It seems like a really low percentage, but that's actually almost 3.5 times the national average click-through rate. So to put that in perspective, that's about 1,300 website visitors that we never would have generated with an unpaid organic post. And for just $100, we got 1,300 potential customers visiting a small business's website. So, I mean, wouldn't you want to pay just $100 for 1,300 prospects? Long story short, if done correctly, you'll start to really see your ads up your social media game and start turning sales into really promising leads.
Amen to that. And guys, just on that note, yes, social, like SEO, social media ads can help get people to your website. Please make sure you have a website that is set up to convert. Kind of a conversation for another day, but if you're worried about your website, please check out episode 104. We walk through everything your website needs to include in order to convert prospects into customers. So anyway, Angel, I know this was a longer episode, but thank you so much for coming back on the show and making social media advertising so approachable.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. Again, social media advertising might seem pretty scary at first, but it's more simple than most small businesses think. And it can really lead to big results that benefit your business.
Oh, for sure. Now, to those of you listening, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Priority Pursuit. If you enjoyed this episode, we hope you'll take a moment to share it with your small business friends, to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, and that you will join us next week for even more marketing, boundary, and priority-driven tactics you can use to build a life and small business that you love.